It's kit unboxing day. Hey everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my channel and my studio. Today I will be unboxing the latest card kit from Simon Says Stamp and making 5 cards plus 1 bonus for your viewing pleasure. To see the unboxing and the cards come together, stick around. That video is coming up next. Commence the unboxing. My box got a little smooshed on the way. I just wanted to point that out. All right, let me get everything out and spread out for you to see. Welcome to the July 2025 card kit from Simon Says Stamp. This is called Through the Window. And here is the pouch. And these will vary from kit to kit, box to box in terms of color, but we include these sometimes when the budget allows, and it's a really nice way to keep all of your kit contents together. You are going to get a Distress Mini Cube of Scorched Timber. Nice earthy tone there. Well, I haven't done much with the Scorched Timber. Oh yeah, you're going to get Sustenance, little charms pop here. You are going to get a bottle of the brand new Positively Perfect Craft Glue. This is a brand new glue from Simon Says Stamp. We have changed the formula. We have a brand new formula. Sounds repetitive, but I'll tell you something in secret. I have been using it in secret behind the scenes, and so far it's been a really nice glue. Oftentimes I transfer my glues into these little fine tip bottles. So you are going to get a chance to play with this, and it does have a very fine tip. So it's easy to use for adding embellishments and whatnot, and I'll definitely be using this in the video. You are going to get some foam strips, a 1/4 sheet. These can be very nice for, building shakers or adding some dimension. This die set is the Window Trio. Now, I have opened this already because I wanted to take a quick peek before I started filming, but what we have here, now I have a prototype. The dies that are going to actually be in the kit are going to be slightly modified and improved. I don't know what that means because these look so stinking cute as it is, but look at the nice size of these windows. So this is going to be so fun for building window cards and with scenes in the background. That is a really great set of dies. All right, putting this away. Okay, we've got some pattern paper. This is from La La Land Crafts. It's called In the City, and you've got a bunch of 6x6 papers. And let's look at the scenes. Oh my goodness. This is, oh, look at that cute scene. This feels like about maybe 190-pound or 100-pound cover text weight, like not text, cover, strike that. Anywho, these are scenes, little city scenes, all of them. And they are two-sided. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at how cute that art is. These are adorable. Here's 4 different city scenes. Oh, that's cute. Wow, I wonder if when we're going to start repeating. These all look different to me. Oh my gosh, look at that city scene. Look at the colors on that. Okay, I think these all look different. Is that a repeating one? Maybe. No? Okay, that is, oh, there's another 4. Four cities, 4 panels, scenes. What a darling set of papers. Wow. Wow. Okay, that is super fun, especially for the frames that we have. Got some ideas percolating already. Love when that happens. You're going to get 1 little bag of the new Simon Says Stamp Stellar Embellishment Mix. And this is a gold star with an iridescent finish. Oh, that's very cute. That could be cute to mix in with something else too. Very cute. Those must be brand new. Have not seen those. You are going to get a stencil. This is called Landscapes. Let's take a look at this. I'll slide this over here because then it will show up a little better. Oh, you've got cloudscapes, hills, maybe that's water, and then land. And I guess what you would do here, I mean, if I'm, oh, jewels, not jewels, I think you slide your paper in to get that onto your panel. What a nice all-purpose thing, especially if I was going to make a scene to put in a frame. Huh. All right, gonna set that aside. Let's look at the cardstock from this kit. Oh, somewhere in here, look at this. I totally missed it. You know why? Because it's see-through. You're going to get a half sheet of acetate. So this can be really nice for doing window shakers perhaps. And that barely should, look there, you can see my camera up there, it's so shiny. But yes, you are going to get a piece of acetate. All right, let us look at the namesake stamp set. I would assume there are coordinating dies for this. They are not part of this kit, but I will definitely link them in the supplies. This is called Through the Window. Okay, you have window scenes and you have windows to pop those scenes into. That's kind of cute. It's almost got kind of like a vintage vibe. I love the silhouette nature of that. Oh, especially with having a window, you mask off your scene. That is super fun. Now, I do wish I had the dies for this. And again, you can always add them to your order, but missing you, happy birthday. Let's get away, thinking of you and wish you were here. That's a really charming sketch set stamp style. It's almost like a little vintage vibe. Yeah, okay, that's really fun. It just looks like a little Parisian cafe. All right, love it, super fun. All right, and then we go to our cardstock. You're going to get one sheet of the 100-pound Simon Says Stamp Peacock. You're going to get a sheet of the Simon Says Stamp Banana. And you're going to get a sheet of Ivory. So that's a really pretty palette. Kind of feels, that almost feels like a ooh la la Parisian street. Probably too inspired by some of the colors here in this paper pack, which is, I think it's such a cool paper pack. The scene builder, these dies. All right, we're gonna do quite a bit of percolating as all of us want to do, and I will come back and get started with card number 1. For card 1, I went ahead and cut out 2 of this frame. And the coolest thing about this is these windows open. I did not know that. Now, I don't know what the upgrade will be for sure, but that's pretty cute. So I thought it would be fun if we sealed one down and took our scorched timber and created a dark wood frame. Now, of course, you could do this with brown cardstock, but what if we just sort of colored it in like that? Just go over it. I'm going for a saturated look, so I'm just kind of swiping and smushing and tapping and changing the color and just giving myself a lot of ink. Here we go. Like that. Just gonna swipe and tap. So, I mean, you know, you got the cube. So we're gonna make this deep color. Now, I will pick this up and I'm actually gonna put it here. I'm just gonna take like a Kleenex or just something to just sort of rub it in a little more, pick up some of that extra ink. Waste not, want not. Yeah, that's pretty good. And just, you know, kind of go like that. And now I'm going to just let this dry. Oh, come here, dig in. There we go. I'm going to let this dry because I'm going to be using this. And I've got a second one here that I think, well, actually, hold on. Change my mind on this. I just want to get a little more of that where I can see the cream out. So just, you know, again, just tap it on. That should be good. All right. It will dry, will be lovely. But what I want to do, come here. This is supposed to be quick. In my mind, I thought this is going to be great. But you know, never say never. All right, I'm going to set this here. And I'm actually going to put a heavy block on here because I want to have a little dimension with this. I want it to be not popped up. We'll see about that. That I haven't decided. But I'm going to take this second one and I'm actually going to cut these windows out because all I want, and if I take my little scissors here, this should be easy to do. I'm just going to come in here, right? Well, you know what you could do? Put that down, pick it up, come here, fold it on that score line. Oh, I want to cut it out. So I'm just going to come here. I'm just going to go around. Oh, I'm kind of bending it, but that's okay. And I'm just going to cut this window frame off because I want to use this to build up a little dimension behind the other frame. So it's a little awkward the way I'm doing it, but cut and cut. So this is going to be behind the other one for a little dimension. And as soon as I feel like this is dry enough, I'll glue this on with the new glue. Next, I'm going to take some of the Positively Perfect Craft glue and just add it to the base here. And this does have a really small applicator tip, so you don't have to do what I do, which is I love to put it into those little bottles, but that's just me. This also is really easy to hold because it's just so little. And we're putting it on the front of the layer that I'm building dimension with. We'll put a little across the center. And I am going to put just a little drag on each one like this. You just need a bead and you can kind of just drag it out like that. Okay. And I always do a little cleanup here as I can just to make sure that it doesn't get mucked up. But I'm going to take this piece now and just glue it on the bottom. So this has a layer of dimension underneath it, just a little. And that ivory will give us, you can just pick that extra glue up with your hands or with a tissue as well. I do it both ways. It will dry clear. Okay, now we'll pick it up. And I just want to make sure this is nicely wiggled into place so that we have a little bit of dimension. So while this is drying, get that glue out of there, I am going to cut out a background. First, I'm going to take just a little bit of this out here. There we go. You can always use your craft pick if there's any extra glue. Wipe it off and it will be ready to go. And then I just clean this up with a little spritz of alcohol and whatever I was using, tissue, toilet paper, tissue or paper towel, I meant to say. I'm just going to grab some toilet paper and bring it in. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, I narrowed it down to 2, and I think both of these are just so beautiful. But I think what I want to do, and this is, I don't know. This is my vision. So I'm gonna cut this out first, but I need to figure this placement. This is like you live in some old brownstone in the city and you look out your window and you see skies. You just have to figure out, what do I want to see out my window? And I really do think the flowers are so pretty. Like, oh, maybe that's what I see when I look out my window. Okay. What I need to do is cut this out. So I'm just going to use this little leftover piece. Okay. Kind of just get the frame in there. I'm going to tape it down for a second. I don't want it to slip. I'm going to trace it with a pen, because if I trace it just to the inside of here, it's going to be perfect for cutting out. And so I'm just going to take, I hope this works, little black pen, and I'm going to hold this down and I'm going to trace it like that. I guess I could come in there like that, and up. And now I'll just use my scissors to cut this out, and then I will have it for the background. I kind of want to cut to the inside though as well, just because I want this to be sandwiched on the inside. Like, I don't want it to extend outside. So we're going to do that. But this now, I'll go like that, and that can be saved. So let's see how close I was over here. I can't really see the line that I did. So I'm just going to come up like that. I don't even think it needs to stick out the side like that. And now when you push this on, oh yeah, I need to cut the bottom off. So we'll just, oh, there's the bottom line right there. Duh. and maybe a little more off the side. And then I can glue this frame right on to this panel for my little view window. And actually, I wanted to show you, I only put it on the ivory piece that I can clearly see, because then when I pop this down and get it lined up, it is only going to stick to the patterned paper, and that will allow me to be able to open the window. Even though I don't have the dies for any of this, I think I'm going to stamp both Missing You, Wish You Were Here. I'm going to emboss them in gold and just see. I'm going to see which one looks best because I think it would look really pretty. This is another little piece of the ivory cardstock. Now I do have this color in my collection, so I can cut a few extra pieces as needed. I'm going to pick this up, pop you back, give this, the first card's always going to take me a little longer because I'm getting my kit legs. Is that a thing? I think that's a thing. But I have clear embossing ink, and I just pulled my Simon Ultrafine Gold from my collection. And I'm going to powder this up with anti-static powder. And then, we're running out of room here, go ahead and ink this up. Also, it is super windy today and beautiful while I'm filming. I have my window open. I doubt you can hear the wind, but I'm curious to know if you can, because it is just a blowing out there. All right. It's a beautiful, beautiful summer day here in Minnesota as I create what looks to me to be more of a springtime scene, maybe with the blossoms. All right. Let me grab my little pink catch paper and we'll add the powder. All right, I'll do a little brushing off down at the bottom. There's a little extra powder down at the bottom, and I'll just take my little brush here and just brush that away, probably from when I was cutting the little extra pieces, but that's why I like these little angled shaders. You can get in very close and get little specks away from where you might not want them. The Missing You looks pretty good. It's just down here at the bottom. Oh, that was fancy, where I was handling it a bit. Only takes a minute to do this, and I always feel like it's worth it because I always hate when I melt the powder and then a big blob of gold suddenly appears where well, it's not a big blob, but okay, that looks pretty good. I will warm up my heat tool and melt this powder. All right, now I have two greetings that are nice and shiny, and I am going to use my scissors, and I'm going to cut these. I'm going to fussy cut these off camera. I need my face to be really close when I'm fussy cutting. So wish me luck, and I'll be right back with the greetings, and we'll try to finish this first card. Got some Big Mama foam tape on the back here, and I like this tape because it's a lower loft. I'm going to pop this right down in the center of an ivory note card that I prepped off camera. Oh, honestly, what am I doing? You know what? I want it to be straight because there's not much on this card. So another thing we can do is put liquid glue on here for a little float time. And when you do that, it just gives it a second before this foam tape sticks like a mother. And here I can bring this here, kind of visualize the center, line it up. Is that close enough? Yeah. Line it up from side to side, drop, make sure that's straight. I'll press it down. Yeah, that's good. I just wanted it to be as straight as possible, and I think that's really nice. Now, I didn't do anything else here. I really like just the look of looking through the window. These do open, but I'm not going to open them because I'm going to take my adequately fussy cut. That doesn't look horrible. Here's the thing that I believe about fussy cutting. You don't even really notice that it's like, I don't think you notice when it's janky. That's what I'm going to go with here. But I am going to pop this on, and again, I will also use my liquid glue here. I put more than I needed. I don't know what I was thinking, but here we'll just do little daubs of glue onto the foam squares. And the ones that make contact, hopefully that's going to work out okay, because I think it's cute if we set it right there, just off to the side. I think that's really cute. And our little greeting goes right there. That is actually kind of cute. Oh my goodness. Do I want to add anything else? Let me think about this. I don't need the foam square that's on the outside there, but that's okay. It's popped up enough that I don't think it's even going to matter. And maybe I'll try to peel that off after a little while. Okay. I know this might seem weird and it might not even make that much sense, but I think the stars just add a little something to this. So I'm going to put just a few, even though it's not a night sky. I'm going to go boop, maybe one there, little glue, and boop, one in here, a little bit of glue, boop, one here, boop, and one down, maybe right here. Boop, like that. And that's card one. It just adds a little shine and a little something fun as we look through my window, my cityscape. All right, first one done, moving on. For the next card, I went ahead and cut a window frame out of some cardstock from my collection. This is just a gray called Smoke. And I am going to create a blend in the background here and use the silhouette stamp, this mountainscape, as what you see through the window. So I think what I'll do first, you know what, I'm gonna trace it with pencil. I'm just going to create the boundary area so that I know roughly where to create my transitions and whatnot, even though I don't think that's going to cover it as long as I need it. But what we'll do here is we will start at the base with a color called Aegean. And this is going to be my little grass area. I'm going to speed this up for the sake of time in this video, but I'm just creating my blend. And here I'm going to go just up a little bit in the center, almost to get that mountain point, if that makes sense. But that's going to be the base. Now I'm bringing in Marine, which is a beautiful blue, and this will be mostly the entire sky. We're going to get that blend working together, and then I'm going to bring in the violet from the top down just to get that darker night sky look. Purples are great for that, and this is a really pretty color. And again, I'm bringing it down so that that looks like a beautiful nighttime sky. This comes together really quickly, and then all we have to do is, well, I'm gonna retrace that image though, as you'll see, because it sort of started to disappear. I just wanted to make sure it was easy to cut out. All right, but before I trim it, I am going to stamp on the mountainscape. Now let me see if that mountain will hit right where, yeah, I think that's gonna be good. All right, let me get set up to stamp. Now we will place our mountain. I'm gonna stick that down. See how it's kind of, the green's right there. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. All right. And I'm just gonna stamp this in black ink. Just a dye ink here. I'll just use my small cube. True story, I gave my large cube to my sister-in-law, who is going to start a card making group at her church. And I said, well, if you need I said, you have to have a black ink pad, and I don't really have any to spare. So I just ran upstairs and I said, use this. And I gave her my Gina K pad. I said, it's really a great pad. So, you know, sometimes you have to, I reordered one, but sometimes you have to give things away. You have to share. You have to share what you know. I love this ink. Okay. We're just gonna get a couple rounds here to make it nice and inky. I might even do a third. I'm not squishing too hard. I just want this to be super black. And you know, sometimes with the dye ink, it's just nicer to build up as you go with a few layers of ink because it's really dark. All right, I will clean this up and then I'll just use my scissors and trim this out just to the inside of the line. Or actually, I have a confession to make. I have just started really connecting with this trimmer. I have all the Tim Holtz trimmers, and I am a self-professed guillotine gal. And so what I'm going to do, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut the bottom off first, and then that will let me get into the others. I've really started to enjoy this particular trimmer. And I don't know if that's perfectly straight. We'll see. It's just been a really nice thing to learn about. Okay, I'm a little, there we go. Because look at how thin that cut is. Kind of loving it. And again, just to the inside, because then that will be right inside the frame. But yeah, I have discovered something after, oh gosh, how many years have I been making cards? A while. And that cuts so beautifully. So now this can go behind the window. Do I need to trim a little more? No, that looks like it's going to fit right on the back. So that becomes the scene. But I think I'm going to add some, do I want to add some stars? I think I will, but I'm going to use my Jelly Roll pen. And before I do this, I'm just going to practice to make sure that the pen is flowing. And I think I'll just put a few on so they kind of feel like a night sky. You know, just a few stars. I'm not very good at random, which is why spatter is so nice, but I can do little ones and bigger ones. Just a few. You can just tap it down, pull it up, tap, 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 tap. How about that? Just a little there. And there is, oh no, it goes this way. Sorry, there's my scene. I like the window lights at the top. There we go. There we go. So now I just have to figure out the rest of the design. Oh, I will go ahead and glue this down, but I won't glue closed the windows. I'll leave those so that they can be a little loose and slightly open. I'll do that really quick, and then we will come up with a design for the card. I cut a white card base. I used some of the ivory to mat the window, and I stamped a few thinking of yous, and I knew I was going to have to fussy cut because I don't have the dies, but I'm going to show you something. I've done this before, and I've only found that it works really well with this particular bone folder. But if your little edges look at all kind of janky, I guess that's the best way I can describe it, you can take the tip of this bone folder and just go along the edges, and it just helps your cuts to look so much better. I always come at it from the back side, and then you can go over it like that. It takes it from looking really jaggy to just a little bit better. And you know, something like this, which is a script, doesn't have to be perfect. But for example, when I look here and I say that's just a little pointier than I want, if I don't want to go and cut it again with my scissors at the risk that I'm going to mess it up, you can just kind of rub the bone folder on it, and it just kind of smooths it a tiny bit. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to put the thinking of you right across here. So these won't open either, and that's okay because I think, yeah, that's the look I'm going for. So let me just add some foam squares to these really quickly. So here, we're just going to stretch that across, and maybe I'll put a tiny bit in the center here. Oh yeah, you're going to need a craft pick for this because it's so small. And we'll go right there. So that way, this has a little lift over the top. I want to do it at an angle, and then you can still see the mountain through here. So let's go ahead and add that. And this is just a sweet little silhouette scene that you could do with any of the images. And let's just go, or is it better to do it? Oh gosh, maybe it should just be straight. Oh, you know what? I'm going straight. You know me. It's hard to it's hard to tilt. So there's thinking of you. Now, this hasn't felt like a card that needs any embellishing at all because it's just a really simple design. And you're looking through the window, you're looking out at the mountain scene, who knows where you are, but this card is done. For the next card, I did a little work in advance. I cut this from the banana cardstock and I cut a small piece of the acetate and placed this on the back. And I cut my scene so that it looks like that. Although, does that make my buildings look crooked? You know, it's going to be fine. I don't think it, there we go. They look perfectly straight. So I'm going to use my foam strips to build a shaker element. And these work really nicely for this. I may need, oh no, that fits right there. Okay. We're going to come all the way up. The nice thing about these strips is, let me pull one out here, they are not sticky on the side. So you don't have to powder anything. I mean, I suppose if you wanted to powder your acetate or just give your acetate a good wash, because sometimes, oh, where are you going? Sometimes that can help to reduce the static, but I'm coming up here like that, okay? We're going to, oh, how do I want to do this? Come up this side too. We're just sealing in the goodness for our shaker. And then I'm also going to put some in here, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Because I may just put some smaller things up top. I haven't decided. Got to think about that. Or I may just want to keep my shaker elements in the base. All right, squeeze you in. I don't think anything can get through there. And then, oh, I guess I'll just nestle this right in there, like that. Okay. Now, this is, of course, is going to be a completely closed window, but I actually think it would be cute to have some shaker elements at the bottom, but not at the top, because I'm not going to fill it super full. But I did pull some of this duckling embellishment, so I'm going to use a few different things in here. This is a great way to use up some of your sequins and shaker fills. And again, I don't want a ton. I'll just put some in like that. That's a nice color. The other thing that I could do here is glue a few onto the scene itself. And I might do that with the stars. I don't want to use all my stars here, but I want to, let's see here. Just put a few in. So we have some stars in the city. And then I think, just for fun, I will glue a few down right onto the city scene. Because then, let's see, one over there. Oh, is that a too big a blob? I don't think so. This way, something will actually stay put instead of all fall down. So I think I will also grab one of you, just, just for something to stay up on the shaker. Maybe one of the little yellow ones. And that way, when everything falls down, we still see some things. Let's get you guys here too. Maybe that there. Probably just enough, just a little. Now, what we do, maybe a few more stars, is we're going to use this to be the back of this. I think that's right on the line. Yep. So now you want to be very careful and just peel off the backers. I'm not putting anything in the top, like I said. We're just going to gently release these. Try to hold your piece as you're peeling these off so you don't vibrate anything. Otherwise, they'll pop and they will they'll land in your sticky released areas. All right, we're coming up here. See, like that one just did. Get off there. I'm being very awkward. See, there's one there. Get back in there. Okay, it's only sticky on the top. All right. The stars might stick because they have points and they could stick right into the, what's it called? The edge of the foam, but that's not because of static. That's just because they're stars. And we'll give it a good shake once we get it going. Oh, I'm having a hard time with this. Move away from the edges. Move away. Move away from the edges of the piece. Come down. Drop it like it's hot. And seal. Oh, I don't think I got up high enough. Let's see. Oh, boy. Oh, no. Barely. Barely. Okay. We're going to pretend like we don't see that exposed piece. Is everything else incorporated? I think so. I may have to trim a little off the bottom. Don't mind me, just a little, so you don't see that. Okay. And there is my little shaker window. Isn't that cute? It's very fun. Now I have to figure out what I'm going to do for a greeting and a card. Hold tight. Because I didn't want a fussy cut anymore, I pulled out from my stash Easy Strips Reverse I See You. There are so many options that would be so perfect with a window. So that's what I'm going to do for my greeting. I am going to do I See You, and I actually have a coordinating stamp set that is in that theme. But what I wonder is, should I do a little blend around the edge of this note card just to give it a little glow? I don't know if it's needed. Let's just try it and see. It might look good, it might not. I don't know. Thought I'd speed this up just because it took me longer than I thought it would. I wanted a glowy rectangle, and that's actually harder to do than you think because I didn't want to go all the way to the edge of the cardstock. So I went slowly and just built it out and kept checking my work to make sure that I had enough glow, but yet at the same time, I didn't go all the way to the edge of the cardstock. So, just made a glowy rectangle. Took some time. Had to speed that up. But I think it really is going to add a lot to this card. See, I think that's really pretty to have a little bit of glow on there. I'm going to stop while I'm ahead because that's when you start to get cocky, and that is not me. All right, so let's lift off the card base. This is a really easy way, by the way, to get your paper released is you just lift up your mat. And now I have I'm going to do liquid glue on this just because this will hold the shaker on very nicely. So again, you just take your liquid glue and just swirl it on, get it going like that, all over the back. Now I'm pretty sure I can get this straight, but I'm going to bring in my T-square to help as needed. And we will drop this right in the center of the glow. I think that looks really good. Done it straight. Bring that and line it up there. There we go. Yeah, that's a nice bit of glow. And where did I put my greeting? Now I have misplaced it. Hold tight. You never know. You never know where these things are going to end up. But now I'm going to try to grab this where there's no adhesive. There we go. I am going to do little liquid glue like this because it will just give it that little bit of float time. And, well, you know what though? I do want this to be a little offset, just like that. Not much, just a little, like that. I think that's really cute. And I think I'll add, well, do I want to add a few extra stars here and maybe some of these? Let me lay them out. Okay, I kind of like this, and I actually, maybe I showed this already. I'm going to use my Positively Perfect glue that's in this container because this, for me, is so much easier to control. So that's just a heads up for those of you who like these little bottles. This glue will work great in here. Boop, there we go. I'm putting some on the frame. Boop, some off the frame. Boop, working our way down. Boop. Come in here. This is my favorite card. Boop. I love it. I love it. Boop. And right there, a boop. And that's my finished card. So here I have my shaker element, the window, of course, the little glow. I see you, and then I could write inside anything I wanted. Or like I said, I have a stamp set. Well, actually, I don't know where it is, but I could stamp a greeting. Let me see if I can find that. Actually, I don't have a stamp set. I have a die. So we're going to say this card is done. Oh, Cathy, Cathy, you might need to go get another cup of coffee. All right, moving on. For the next card, I have an idea. What if we just put the window frame into the street scene on a panel, right? Just as a design element. I love this, and this will give me a chance, I think, to use the cardstock from the kit to pick up the color in that little window. So I'm going to cut this out and see. I actually glued 3 of these together, but I cut out the windows from the other 2 just so this could be on its own. I know it seems like we're cropping a lot here, but sometimes design calls. So I just popped this on with some of my Big Mama foam tape, and my thinking is that's just going to be a design element over the top. And then I just have to figure out a greeting. I think it's really cute. So let me add my glue. I'm not going to put it on the windows because I just want this to be on the actual pop-up frame part. And you can kind of see there's a little more elevation. Then I just have to figure out a greeting. See, I really wish I had the dies because it would just look so cool to have "Wish You Were Here" beautifully die cut. But I'll do my best off camera. I'm gonna do my best with the fussy cut. I think this is absolutely charming with this frame, and the window does open. I'm not opening it because I'm not gonna, send it that way. But I'm going to go ahead and stamp. I might emboss. I'll just do it real quickly off camera, fussy cut to the best of my ability, and then I'll show you how we're going to add that greeting. Okay, I did a pretty good job with the fussy cut. Look at that. That is not bad. That is probably some of my best work. And again, I embossed it in gold. I'm just going to stick it right smack dab in the center of the frame because I think that is really stinking cute. Now, I could add some gold stars to this as well, just, using the kit contents. We could put a few in. Let's see how it looks. We'd maybe do one in there, maybe one in the window, maybe one up there. Just a few. I don't know. Do I need more than that? Do I need 5? Do I have one come out that way? Do I put one in here? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I like 3. I know it's not very much at all. It's really basic, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I'll use the Positively Craft glue that I've put in this tiny bin. Boop. Oh, I think that's really cute. Boop. And right there for a boop. And that finishes this cute card. So that way you get wait, where did it go? Oh, it stuck to the, oops. I was looking for it. It stuck to there we go. It stuck to my guy there. All right, there we have our 3 iridescent stars, a cute little frame, and a really fun way to use the pattern paper to pick up that color right in there. All right, that finishes this card. For the next card, I'm going to use this stencil and try to make a whole panel. So you can come through the stencil one way or up through the stencil another way, and that way you can actually plan where you are going to blend. And I'm going to get some greens, so hold tight. I've got a couple colors pulled here because I also think I'm going to be doing maybe some masking, and that we'll see how this goes. Try to think outside of my box. All right, let's load on some cabbage. If I'm being smart, I will mask this just to protect my paper. up there so we don't get anything where we don't want it. There we go. All right, I'm gonna bring this in and blend on some cabbage. Oh, I had another color on my brush. Oh, that's giving me a very cool green. I didn't think to clean it off. Huh. Well, there you go. Sometimes I completely forget to clean off my brushes and the result can be kind of cool. So, all right, we like it. I am going to be trimming this, I do believe, but I just want to see the things that I can do with this stencil. Now, do I want to make it a little darker at the top? Perhaps. Let's bring in just a little bit of artichoke. I'm going to tap a little and then just come at it right from the top here. Just for that little bit more of an edge shadow of depth, or, you know, whatever we call that. Just kind of boldens it up a bit. All right. Okay, that looks great. And I'm going to lift it up. The whole thing. Oh, yeah, you need to bring the whole thing up together because it's all stuck on together. And that is the first layer. Let me get this cleaned off, and I'm going to cut a piece of mask. Well, yeah, I haven't decided yet. Hold tight. Actually, I'm going to add another hill layer. So let's get that. I want it to be a little more off to the side. So I'm going to press that down because I want some dimension in here. And so let's see what happens if I just bring in kind of what's on the brush already, like that. Now I'm going to need some more ink, so let's get our cabbage back out. Okay, get that up here for our little distant hills. Well, I'm glad I did that one so dark because now it's kind of got a cool look there with the, yeah, I like that. Okay, again, we're playing. We're not sure what's going to happen here, but I like it. And that gives us a little more hill in the distance. Lift you up and you, and I'll just slide that out. So now we've got a couple hills. So next I'm going to do a sun. So I've positioned, I don't know, kind of where I think my sun's going to be, and the color is butter. So we're going to load this up. Oh yeah, more masking. I'm going to use fresh Post-its just because I don't want it to pick up any green. I want my sun to be perfectly yellow. There we go. Okay, pick it up and then blend it on. Now what I'm going to have to look for, and I'm sure I can find it, is a die that's this size so I can cut some masking to mask off my sun. I'm just doing a little, I guess the sun can have a little darker on one side, lighter on the other, right? I mean, yeah, it's the sun. Okay, so I am going to lift you off like this, and we're going to wipe this off. And I will grab this. I have this whole set of basic shapes. Now, I don't know. I may not. Let's use our pickup here. I don't know if this one, not that one. Come here. This may not be big enough. Oh, I think it is. Okay. Let me cut a little piece of masking magic so I can mask off my sun. Now, lucky me, this is the exact size. So I can do my clouds and the sun should stay perfectly covered. Does that look? Now I'm going to have to hold it for, oh, see, you got to let the ink dry. You have to let the ink dry a little because it doesn't want to stick if this ink is dry. So sometimes you have to think about that. I'm going to line it up and I'm just going to put this on top for a little bit. It's just because I just blended it, and I'll go pick out some colors for my sky. So now I have to build some clouds, and I think I'm going to start like that, right? Yeah, Oh, that's going to be pretty. Again, I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing just yet. I'm just making some things with the stencil to show you how versatile this kit stencil is. So I'm going to grab Seafoam because I think this is a really pretty sky color. We'll go darker right there, right at those bases. And then we just kind of soften it up. Like that. And go all the way to the top with the Seafoam. But I don't think I'm going to mix in other colors. I think I'm just going to keep this as a this is my sky. This is what we're doing. Like that. And then we can come down here and add more clouds. Okay, and this way I don't have to move my Post-its because we're going to do the same thing. But this time we're going to go right over that sun, but at least it'll look like the sun is coming up over that sky cloud thing, majig. And then maybe a little lighter like that. Okay. So fun. All right. I'm loving it. And I don't know if I'm going to do the other clouds because I think these are really cute. And so what I'm going to do is just pop this right here like that. And this will be the last cloud on the page. Well, I might do some more. I don't know. We'll see. Kind of getting that going there. Okay, so we've got this guy. And then I think what I could do now is just, how about if I protect you like that, okay? And then I'm just going to blend this down until it hits right there. I don't want this to be hampered, so I'm just going to bring some blue in. We'll keep it nice and light and pretty, but it can go up to the sky like that. That way it'll just be like big clouds coming off the horizon, right? I think. See, that's what's cool about this. You can use it for masking as well. So you make that shape, you make that hill, then you can mask that shape off as well. And I'm pretty sure I did a good job. Oh yeah, that's right on the line. All right, so that is my panel so that it's not stark white right there. And now I will clean my stencil. I could put some birds on this one too. I'm going to think about that, but it might be after the fact because now let's lift this up and see how our sun looks underneath. Isn't that great? Sun's in front of the clouds. I'm going to crop this too, but all right, I think that looks really cute. Let me think about my greeting. I'm going to turn this into a simple happy birthday card, and there are little birds here too that could be like, well, I could stamp the birds, but you know what? Let's do the happy birthday first because the stencil birds are also really cute. So we'll just pick this up. I'm going to prime this stamp a little. I'm going to stamp it in the black ink. Oh, my mat isn't as sticky. It needs a wash, and I've been using it a lot lately. In fact, just to make sure you're not going to do anything funky, we're going to tape you down. There we go. Okay. Ink this up. And we'll do a few passes of this. There's nothing wrong with a simple layer of stencil. I mean, look at that. That's so cute. Looks really good. Okay. Transfer that. That is so fun. All right, I think I'm going to add some birds and then trim this down and turn it into a card. Pop this right back down onto my mat. Grab my gray/black brush. And I think what I will do is I'm going to do this. Wait, which one's the bigger one? I'm going to do bigger bird here. I am going to use a few of these just to make sure that I don't do anything out of the lines. Okay. And we'll do biggest bird here. He's at the bottom. Get right in there nice and clean. Okay, lift up that bird. A medium bird here. And again, I think that I can do this without masking right there. Okay, just be careful. Tapping that in. Like that. So cute. Pick you up. Oh yeah, it's working. And then the third bird is way high up in the sky, right there. And that doesn't need any masking. Let's hold that down. Get my third bird. What a cute little scene. All right, let me crop and make a card. So here is the finished card project. Very simple. I love how it looks on the banana cardstock. I'm not going to embellish or do anything at all. And that wraps up today's cards. All right, let's take a look at everything together in our design review. Here's a look at the finished cards from today's unboxing, and they're all very similar up here and then a little different here. And let's just get started by doing design review, beginning with this. So for card number 1, I used the ink pad to create a wooden frame looking out from a brownstone into New York City. Well, I don't know if it's New York City, but if we bring in our grid overlay, and again, I have a link in my description to a blog post that gives this file for free that you can print onto your own acetate and print on an inkjet printer or laser printer, depending on what type of acetate you need. And this is just going to give us a little look at the 9 quadrants that make up our space. And here we have Missing You is centered mostly right on that intersecting point here, which is a really strong place to put a greeting. Could have been centered and been fine too, but I think when you break outside of any plane, the boundary of your window, as it were, it creates a little more interest. This is essentially a very symmetrical design from top to bottom. There's not much going on. This is a really simple batch of cards this time, but I kind of feel like when you've got a pattern paper that looks like this in the background, do you really need much? And then look at those fun stars in there. And again, it's got that sort of peeking through and seeing outside vibe. I really love how this card turned out. There are ways you could step it up, I'm sure, but you know me, I like to keep it simple. Moving on to another window here, I used the stamp set to create that lovely little silhouette mountain out there in the distance. We blended on some color and added some stars. This, even though it looks subtle, I love doing cream on white. So I did grab some white from my collection, of course. There wasn't white in this kit. Now, as I do the overlay, again, it's very symmetrical. Our greeting here is just hanging off that grid line. So there's not much to point out in terms of balance other than slice it down the middle, and it's pretty much the same from side to side and even top to bottom minus the greeting. We have our little repetition of white cardstock on our fussy cut greeting and the white note card and the white stars and a little bit of black and black here. It's a very simple card. You could, again, get a lot fancier with this, but I just was feeling really simple vibes when looking through the window. Now this little shaker, I think this is super fun. I love this card. And again, it's simple. We did step it up a little bit by having, number 1, a little blend on the outside, and by turning it into a shaker, but the shaker bits do not go in the upper window lights. So I think that's kind of fun. Again, the grid really just shows such a basic design. Our greeting is hanging from that grid line number 2, or grid line number 2. Well, yeah, number 2. It's just kind of hanging there, and it is again offset. We have little embellishments in opposing corners, providing a little, not really a mirror image, but a reflected symmetry across the space. And we have a few of these sprinkled about. We have our little I see you greeting and the white cardstocks. You get that white type and the white note card, little bits repeating in our gold and our shaker fill. I think it's a really sweet card. Again, I didn't want a fussy cut for this, so I just grabbed something from my collection, but I thought it worked really well with the window theme. For this card, I absolutely love just popping the window onto one of these beautiful patterns. And I loved that I was able to pick up and repeat this color, the cardstock, and the little bits of teal that show up in the window. I think that's very fun. And again, this is a very symmetrical design. Our greeting is centered for all intents and purposes. It's a little bit up off the line, but again, you can see this is just a very symmetrical design, very solid balance. And we have little bits of repetition with our white cardstock, again with that teal color. And then of course we have a little gold repeating, and we have our little gold here as well. You know what? I feel like I'm missing a star somewhere. Did I only put 4 on here? Well, if I did, so be it. And for the last card, I wanted to use that stencil just to create a simple scape, landscape, skyscape. And I actually think it turned out really cute. You don't have to go in with massive bells and whistles to make a really simple handmade card. This would be a lovely card to give to someone on their birthday. And again, if we bring in this for our little overlay, our greeting is smack dab in the center. We have our sun here on an intersecting point. We have one bird on an intersecting point, more in the center. And really the hills do take up the lower third, and the sky is the upper 2/3. So it's a really nice balance. I kind of planned it that way. Of course, we repeat with our black inks here and a little bit of yellow in the sun and the note card base, and that finishes this card. I do have one bonus card. The reason I did not include this in the video is it took me, I can't even tell you. I could not figure out how to set this up to save my life. But one of the things I did was I took the window stamp from the set and I taped this off and used the sky stencil to blend a sky, add some birds, and say, wish you were here. Again, I didn't include the step-by-step on this because I had to start over twice. And I finally just gave up and said, you know what? I'm going to make 6 cards, and this will just be a lucky bonus at the end. And these are the finished card projects for today. Again, I thought I'd show you the bonus one there just to give you an idea for what to do with that stamped window. I think that would be really fun to mask off and put any of the silhouette stamps or other things from that set in the window. You can find links to all of the products I used in today's video in the YouTube description box. I'll also have a blog post with photos and more details about the cards and the kit over on my website. The Simon Says Stamp Card Kit is a tremendous value. Each month, the kit is delivered to your doorstep to inspire your creativity. There is no long-term commitment, and you can cancel at any time. You can also skip any month that doesn't speak to your design aesthetic as long as you cancel by the 15th of each month. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, I'd love to have you, so please hit the subscribe button and be sure to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss the next time I post. If you like kit unboxings, I have one linked here for you to check out, and I'll see you in that video. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.